All right. All right. We are live. Facebook. How are you guys doing? Smart Money community. Hey, all the new members, welcome. There's so many of you that in the last week, week and a half, I think we've had like almost 100 people join the group. So welcome to the group, guys. Super excited that you're here. Dive in. We've got units now. We've got we're just exploding here. So we've got a lot of education here, a lot of teaching here for you to dive into, and again, get you those results, get you where you want to be. Get you unstuck. With your finances here. And so we're excited that you're in the group, excited that you're here, hop in, engage, comment below, hashtag debt freedom, if you like these trainings, because that's our whole goal here. And actually, that's what we want to talk about today, Jen. The three pillars of really what we teach, what we do as a company, our why, what we're here to do, what we're not here to do, but really talk about, what we want to do for you guys, because that's why we exist. We're here to help you guys, take kick-ass action here, get big results here, and change your life. Because let's be honest, staying the same sucks. Even if things are great, staying the same sucks. You always want to be getting better. You always want to be moving forward. I remember a pastor friend of mine. I was at his church one Sunday. He was talking to us and just kind of encouraging. There's a small group of us before the service started. And he was saying, us, as humans and life in general, we're a lot like trees, that produce fruit. You're always moving forward. You don't get to stay stagnant for very long because you're either going to go forward and you're going to become ripe, or if you stay stagnant, you're going to become rotten, right? Just as fruit on a tree, if it stays on too long, it doesn't get that growth, it stops growing, it becomes rotten and unusable, right? And so always in life, as people, wherever you are, we're always trying to journey forward and take that next step forward, as I call it, take intelligent action, right? And take that next step forward. So today, what we want to do, guys, we want to walk you through our three pillars, what we're about, how we're here to help you, take some kick-ass action, how we're here to help you, get those results financially speaking, whether it's become debt-free, whether it's just to manage your money, whether it's become wealthy, right? We talk about becoming wealthy, whether it's becoming and living generous, whatever is your goal is financially, that's what we want to talk about today. And that's what we want to hop into today and really share our vision and share more about, again, what we call our three pillars here. And so, Jen, I think we should just dive in here.
Yeah.
Dive in here and and walk you guys through here. Keep it sweet, keep it simple here. And here's number one. Here's why we exist. Here's what we are doing with you guys. Here's that first pillar that we want to walk you guys through here. Is we want to give people a plan and a clear direction to financial freedom. Essentially, Jen, I think we want to give them a roadmap.
Yeah.
And
It's
show
the
them,
GPS.
the GPS, yeah, the GPS, and show you guys, this is where you are. This is where a lot of people are. And I think a lot of people would say and would agree that they want to be down the road. For some, it's here. For some, it's there. For some, it's there. But our goal and what we want to do here is help show you a clear direction on how to get to your financial goals. Right. And like I said earlier, for some people, it's debt free. For some people, it's building wealth. For other people, it's learning how to live generously, because that's part of a good financial plan, is being able to live generously. But what I have found, Jen, is when you don't have resources, you can't live generously or as generously as you would like.
Yeah. It's
With
so
that.
true. You end up just kind of putting out small fires you know, every couple days or every couple weeks, and you never really get that traction that you need in order to live that generosity and that freedom that you really want.
Yeah. Yeah. And it saddens my heart because we see so many people who had like we, and this is part of what we teach here, we come pre-wired to this earth with different personalities. You ever wonder why someone's so different than you? It's the way they've been designed. And you'll find there's certain people that have been designed to be generous. I mean, generosity is something we all have to practice, but there's certain people it becomes easy to do. And what's crazy is it breaks my heart because I watch so many of these generous spirited people, these people that just want to give and support, and they can't. And you can see it, it's almost like the dimmer switch on the light in the dimmer switch thing, where the light's becoming a little unbright, as life goes on, it's a little dimmer, a little dimmer, a little dimmer, because they can't fully live out the way they've been designed to live out. And usually, actually 99% of the time, it's because of ding, 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 debt. They've gotten themselves tied up. They've gotten themselves enslaved. to the system that the banks are preaching, the system, that's out there. And it's like, and maybe you believe the Levantine belief, debt's good for what? An emergency, right? Or, go get the credit card. You'll never use it, but you'll have it just in case you need it. And all of a sudden, 2, 3 years later, you're $70,000 in debt like I was. How did we
Lies.
get there?
It's all lies.
It's all lies. I'll tell you this, it's not there to serve you. The bank's advice, and hey, listen, if you work for the bank, we're not harping on you, but the truth is, banks aren't there to serve you. They're there to make a profit. TD, I think last quarter did $4 billion. You don't make $4 billion by dishing out checking accounts and savings accounts,
Yeah.
right? And so, that's the thing right there, and so we find a lot of people, because they get enslaved in debt, that pillar number one here, that life of freedom here, to be able to get on a clear direction and get into financial freedom. That's why we've got pillar number one here, is because we found a lot of people just get stuck, and you feel like you're turning your wheels. You feel like you've been going at this for so long, eventually you do give up, and there's a law out there called the law of diminishing intent. And that law decrees that the longer it takes for you to get started in something that you want to do here, the less likely it's going to happen. So statistically speaking, right now, the majority of Canadians have been in debt, 5, 10, 15, 20, sometimes their whole life. And it's like, every year, New Year's is around the corner. Every year, New Year's, the top 2 goals are to lose weight and to get out of debt. Or it's to get out of debt and lose weight. They always go back and forth with which one's the top goal for the year. But the idea is you can only tell yourself so many times that you're going to do it before you start calling the BS flag and start saying, am I really going to do it? I talked to a girl yesterday who has tried for so long to do it that she even said, like mentally, I'm calling the BS flag. I go to do it and I'm having the self-talk where I'm like, yeah, you're not going to do it. You tried to do it before. It's not going to work this time. Why do you think you can do it this time? And that starts to happen, the self-talk, which causes people to stay in the cycle. And it's caused people to start to stay in the debt here. And so, when it comes to that first pillar, to give you a clear direction here to financial freedom, what does that look like? The how to, teach you how to do a monthly cash flow plan, show you how to get out of debt, but not just get out of debt, how to stay out of debt. That's a big one here. Putting money away, so that when life happens, when Murphy shows up, Murphy repellent or Murphy's law, what can happen will happen at the worst possible time. We want to get some Murphy repellent. That's part of what we teach here. Murphy repellent is what? Cash, money put aside, so that next time Murphy shows up in your life here, you aren't stuck. It's getting intentional about becoming debt free. It's getting intentional about staying debt free. This is a big one here because most people have a goal to become debt free. Most people do not have a goal to stay debt free. And that's a big distinction there, because anyone can become debt free. You can remortgage the house, you can go into consolidation on bankruptcy, consumer proposal, 0% credit cards. All those things will help you and help you to get debt free, but they don't help you to stay debt free. And that's the big difference here. And what we do here and what we talk about in our pillars here is our goal is to give you that lifetime of freedom. And the only way you get that lifetime of freedom is by staying and committing to be debt free.
Yeah.
And so that's pillar number one, guys, is to really help get you clarity, help give you direction here to get to financial freedom. What is that path for you? How many steps do you have to take till you get financial freedom? That's what we want to do in this group with you guys here. Now, Jen, let's talk about number 2 here. What's the second pillar that we have, or the second thing we really want to encourage people and help people get to in their lives?
Yeah, absolutely. We want to help people to build wealth, because when you have wealth working for you, you can be generous. You're free. You're no longer enslaved by debt. You have the time and opportunity to be able to do something that's outside of yourself. And so really, when it comes to wealth building and the whole idea of it, it is possible for anybody. It's really about address. I'm sure. And it is possible. You have to want it.
Yeah.
And you have to be willing to put in the hard work to achieve it. So it's the habits and the mindset. Everybody's not wealthy because we're not all doing wealthy people things, right? And so, yeah.
You're not wealthy because you're not doing wealthy people things.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a training right there. What do the wealthy do that we don't?
Yeah.
That's a good training right there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, and a lot of it has to do with our habits and our mindset, right? And so, our goal is to help you to create a healthy mindset around wealth, around money management, around debt, and create those habits so that you can break that cycle. If debt has been plaguing your family for generations, you have the power to stop it, and that's what's really exciting.
Can we
And
just stop there for a sec? Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
But you're throwing knowledge bombs left, right, and center, and you're just going by them. You're just flying by them. You have the power to stop it. Whoa, because when I go on Facebook these days, it looks like there's a lot of powerless people. A lot of people blaming Trump, blaming Joe Biden, blaming Trudeau for their problems and why this world's, in a crazy spot. But you just said you have the power to stop it. Not the government, you do. I like that.
Yeah. And it's not minimizing someone who's, been kicked down or hit by COVID or a tragedy. It's not that. It's overcoming it, Yeah, you camp there for a little bit, but then you have the power to choose if you stay there or if you're going to overcome it and you're going to put some steps into action, because man, you guys, you were created for something bigger and better, right? Like we were all created for something bigger and better. And to be able to step into that truth of who we were really created to be, to have that ability to put into play the steps that are necessary in order to build wealth that you can, provide for yourself in the future, not be a burden to your children when you retire or become sick, to be able to help your kids go to college debt free, to be able to, bless those charities that are close to your heart, save all the puppies, like,
or the kittens,
or kittens, whatever it is for you.
Oh,
but we can't do those things, like you said, Mike, in the first pillar. If we're not using that cash flow plan, if we're not paying attention to those dollars, we don't have those same opportunities that we do when we are managing things properly, and when we got step one done and we get into that next step of being able to build wealth. There's nothing holding us back, and it's those small intentions day after day that get you to win in the long run. It's not necessarily one big event. Winning the lottery is statistically not going to do it for you, nor statistically is it going to happen. But
it's true.
Right.
That's a hope and a wish, and hope isn't a good strategy. Hope is not a good strategy.
No, it's a good emotional mindset to have, but it's not a good strategy. So it's those small steps, and it might mean stepping out of your comfort zone, right? Doing without some wants for a little while you focus on your needs, or it's that whole thing where it does hurt to grow and change, just like the tree. We were talking about the tree example. Growth hurts. Anybody who has grown through like growing pains, or all those different things, things in our life, they stretch us, but they help us to, those things that stretch us, they make us grow, and in the end those things help us to win.
So true.
So Mike, what is pillar number 3? What is something else that we'd love to focus on here?
This is probably my favorite pillar, which is why we kept it for the last pillar. If you ever watched Braveheart, my wife's favorite movie, I've only watched it a few times, Mel Gibson, where he yells, I think it's as he's dying, freedom, right? And it's just like this big, and let me take that here and say the goal, pillar number 3, what we want to do here is help people live a life of freedom. Freedom. Again, I think most people, I think you hit this up earlier, Jen. Most people, I think, feel like they're powerless, and they're powerless in making a decision. And it's like this day and age, I harp on this because I see it all the time, and it saddens me that there's the Trump fans, there's the Biden fans, there's the conspiracy fans, or the like the world's out to get us people, and it's like Like you give up your power to these people that aren't going to help you because you decide to give up your power to these people. Now,
Mm.
Trump ain't going to change your life, and Biden ain't going to change your life, and Trudeau for the Canadians isn't going to change your life. Only you can change your life. Only you can give yourself that freedom, right? And so, you know, questions we have for you is what can you do if you didn't have any payments? Simple answer, anything you want. You can do anything you want here because having a plan really does give you a freedom. It's going to give you a sense here of mission. It's going to give you a sense of where you want to go, and it's going to show you how you can, it's going to show you how to walk that plan. Where am I? Where am I today? I'm right here. Where do I want to go? Right here. Okay, so is it 5 steps to get there? Or is it 2 steps? What do I need to do? And having that clarity is going to start to give you that freedom. But ultimately, when you walk that plan and you get to your goals, is where we get that, that real type of freedom. There's 3 kinds of freedom that we want to help you get. And they kind of all work in within each other here, but here's what they are. Number 1 is financial freedom. Like, duh, right? I mean, that's what we do. We help people get, I think that one was an easy one. If this was a test, 100% right there. Financial freedom. We want to help you get financial freedom. What does that look like? Again, let's harp on it. Becoming debt free. But that's not just it. Staying debt free, putting money aside. We call it a cash flow plan. Some people call it a budget. We don't, we do it a little bit different than a budget, but we call it a cash flow plan. Then a vision. What does the future look like? What could you do if you were to work on the mindset, the habits and behaviors, and start to move forward here? That's where financial freedom comes. And then we teach you how to invest and build wealth and all that stuff. So that's the cool stuff. But you get into that. The second thing, after you get financial freedom, you know what you get to have next? Time freedom. Because what happens is when you become financially free and you don't have to make a Visa payment and you free up whatever it is, everyone's going to be a little bit different, but you free up $1,000 or $2,000 a month. I have one couple, like 40% of their income goes towards their debt. 40%. If you were to free up that 40% of your income, what could you do? Time freedom. Vacation when you want, where you want. Maybe over time you can take time off work. I watch people do that. We had one client, Carmen and Robin, they were telling us they became debt free. This is not quite a year ago. They became debt free. And the cool thing about their situation is he said, Mike, I'm on track to become a millionaire and I get to do it working less because we freed up all our debt. In fact, he was working 60% less and on track to become a millionaire because he freed up all his debt, debt requirements, debt payments. So that's what time freedom can give you. And the next thing, you've got financial freedom, you got time freedom. Once you get time freedom, the next thing you get is what we call location freedom. And what that looks like is, over time, when you start to build wealth and, you start to get into those retirement years, guess what you get to do? When you've got $1 million in retirement or $2 million or $3 million, which by the way, isn't hard. We talked about this last week for our kids, right? Remember that lesson last week? We talked about how our kids could be like gazillionaires almost. If they follow the plan, they could be gazillionaires, or multimillionaires. But it was like, when you become a multimillionaire, you're not stuck to living in one spot. You want to do the snowbird thing, if you're like where I am, where it's snowing, where it snowed today, you can go down to Florida or go down to Mexico or go down to Arizona for 6 months of the year. That's time freedom. And people that work this plan and work this process and work hard get to do that. And the best part is, and I'll say this to everyone, you don't have to wait till you're retired to get time freedom. You can live it today if you're willing to work the plan today. It'll take some time, it's not easy, but it's simple. It's a simple process and it takes some time here. But if you will work the process, you will have time freedom before you even know it. But it takes that commitment, doesn't it, Jen?
Yeah, absolutely. You have
Yeah.
to be in.
Yeah. Yeah, all in, right? And eventually when you walk the process and you go through the process here, you get to experience all 3 freedoms there. All right. And it's really about, it's about getting away from the have tos. How many people do you hear say, I have to do it? Oh, I can't because I have to X, Y, and Z. I can't do that because I have to X, Y, Z. We're always trading.
Yeah.
We're always, we're either trading the life that we want for the life that we have to live. We're trading debt for freedom. Like there's always a trade-off here. And our goal is to get you guys from going and having to do the have tos to be able to do the want tos, to trade the have tos and go and live in the want tos. And when you follow this process through these 3 pillars here, you get to do that. Right. So that's our 3 pillars, guys. This is really what we want to help you guys do in this group here. We want to, give people a plan and a clear direction to financial freedom. Okay. We want to help you guys build wealth so that you can live generously. All right. And be free. Live generously and be free. And number 3, to help people live a life of freedom, financial freedom, time freedom, all right, and location freedom. But Jen, let me ask you this: why are you like out of all the careers you could have done? Because you went to school to be, was it a lawyer?
Law clerk.
Law clerk. So I mean, I bet there's a lot of money in that, or there's potentially be a lot of money in that. Why are you doing what you do? Why are you here? Why are you coaching people today?
Yeah, and it's funny too that you just finished off with the have tos and the want tos, because when I get to do coaching, for me it feels like I get to.
Yes.
It's I want to do it, and I get to do it, and so it's exciting to come and show up every day, to support people. I've shared before, but I'll share again because there's so many new people. My journey started off broke, and I had just finished up my career as a law clerk, and I stayed home with our oldest son, and then the subsequent children that followed. But Gabriel was about 4 months old, and we were completely broke. We had financed a vehicle. We had we had bought an ugly house. We had an expensive baby, and so you know what? We weren't paying attention, and we were broke, and my heart was broken, completely broken. I was a disaster. Crying all the time and feeling stressed and worried about providing for the baby, and it was a really hard time. And it was then something stirring inside that said, help other people, like figure it out and then help other people. And so that's why I do it. That's why I get to show up every day, and I'm so passionate about helping people, because I don't want them to experience the same heartache and stress that I felt 13 years ago. And if they are feeling it, I want to help them out of it and show them there is another way. Just because you've made some mistakes and you're stuck, doesn't mean that you have to stay that way. You can change. You have the power to change. And I love walking with people on that journey, helping them to get their plans started, to show them the value that they have to offer, the experiences that they can bring into their house, and the ways that they can cut expenses, save money, bring in more income, really just tap into their gifts and talents and find joy in the things they have, contentment. It's so exciting to help people to find and create that security, and also build that plan for their goals and dreams for the future. Because when we start off working together, it's baby steps for sure. But those baby steps lead to, bigger leaps into action as they work their way through the plan. And so I do it because I don't want people to worry about the future. I want them to mend their relationships and their emotional health, and of course their finances. So important.
Yeah, what I hear from your story, Jen, is that you've lived it. You've been there. When someone comes on a call with us and says, I'm stressed, there's anxiety, there's fear, I don't know what to do. Yeah. It's like, I was there.
I know.
Let me show you what to do. This is what we did. And, now I'm on the other side, and this is where you can be when you commit again to those 3 pillars, walking through those 3 pillars and staying committed and taking intelligent action. For me, I was similar. It was 2008, just got out of, school there, and the big crash, the big, the big turnaround in the stock market and the economy there. And I had no idea what was going on. I just knew the gas prices, at the time, I remember where we lived, gas prices being $1.50. At that time, they had doubled because we were paying roughly about 75, 85 cents a liter. And I remember just doubling, thinking, oh, that's not good. what's going on here? And again, my financial well-being, my background was I learned everything I learned was from friends, broke professors, and that's it, really. And so went into life, with conventional wisdom, borrow money to build wealth, and you know, um, we tried to borrow on the right type of stuff, borrowed for a car, borrowed for school. And then what happened was we continued to borrow, and all of a sudden, within a couple of years, within probably 2 years, we were $80,000 in debt. And you turn around and you're like, how did that happen? They gave me a credit card and said I only need to use it for an emergency. Holy crap, there must have been about 10 emergencies that had happened because we were in a lot of debt. And I remember just feeling insecure. I remember feeling angry because conventional wisdom, it was my fault. I'm not blaming conventional wisdom, but conventional wisdom, we listened to it, and this is where we ended up. Not any better, but broke, struggling, a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, stressed, and I didn't know what to do. The mortgage people told me to remortgage it into my house. The bank told me to consolidate it, right? And it was like, the conventional wisdom, it wasn't working for us. And so after, really struggling around it for a while, even praying like, hey, like just for an answer for something, you know how you say, when you're ready, the guide will show up. Well, I was praying hard, like, bring me that guide. Anyways, through a stream of events here, a mentor ended up coming into my life and really showing me how to do it. He had done it himself. He was debt free. He's like, he really took me under his wing and showed me how to do it and really gave me the confidence. And so it took us 24 months and we were debt free, making an average income. We weren't making a ton of money. My wife was in school. I was working for the government, and yeah, it was funny. We had job loss during that time. We started businesses during that time. So you want to talk about up and down income. When someone says to me, I've got no income, I'm like, great, I've been there myself. Let me show you how I did it, and raise that income, get that income up because, everyone today can do it. Wherever you are, you can do it. And, when I look back into where I was 10 years ago, and again, like you, I'm on the other side. I have never gone back into debt. I never will go back into debt. Using these 3 pillars and what we teach is what has kept me debt free, and this is the stuff we teach to other people here. And so that's why I do this, because I don't want another Canadian, another American to ever have to say no to their family, to their, to their dreams and to the opportunity that comes to them. Because one thing I've realized, and I saw this while I was touring, I'll be honest, when we look at the music industry, we think there's a lot of money. And sometimes there is for the big dogs, but for all the touring musicians and little dogs, a lot of times a lot of people live in paycheck to paycheck. You're not making a ton of money. You got to get around. I watch so many people give up on their dreams because of finances. So many people left the road because they couldn't pay their bills because they had too much debt. I remember being on the road because I was in debt at that time too. But I remember being on the road. That's where I learned a lot of the stuff, and I remember thinking, don't want to do that. And I'm gonna get myself figured out here so that I can, if I ever decide to leave music, I leave it because I want to, not because I'm forced to. And that's what we did. That's what I did here. And so my goals, my why and what we do, we don't want anyone to ever have to say no to their dreams, to the opportunities, because we live in one of the most abundant times in the history of the world. You want to talk about opportunity? We have more opportunity today than that's ever been available throughout the history of the world. And so you can do it. But the thing is, you can't be enslaved to debt. You've got to work a plan to get out, or else you will always be like the status quo, broke and just stuck, blaming the government, blaming the teachers, blaming your parents, blaming your friends for your circumstance. You're not empowered when you do that. So that's my why. I want to help, so no one ever has to say no to their family, to their friends, to their opportunity, or to their dreams ever again. So that's it, guys. That's the 3 pillars. That's why we do this here. And one thing I love, Jen, is we were talking about this, I think yesterday or the day before. We've got like people that come to this program, people that work with us, people that like engage and take this advice and use it. They get results.
Oh yeah.
The results are there. you know, whether that's just doing it yourself in this Facebook group or whether that's working with us one-on-one, the results are there for those who implement and take intelligent action. So let me ask you guys, what's stopping you from having success with your finances? Hopefully nothing, but if there is, it's you. You know, point to yourself. You're the reason you're stuck. But the good part is you're the reason you can get moving forward here.
Yes.
You're the reason you can have success. You're the reason, okay? You can do it, as I point to myself. You can do it, guys. And so we love you guys. Take this information, use it, guys. Change your life, change your family tree here, and reach out. You know, if you like this, comment below, hashtag debt free. All right. If you've got questions, reach out. We're here to, you know, that's what we're here to do is help, you know, simple questions, help answer that for you. Comment below. If you like this, again, hashtag debt free. That's where we want you guys to be. Any last words, Jen?
No, I think you summed it up really well, actually.
All
Yeah.
right.
Dive in, get active, take control, guys. You can totally do it.
I love it. Awesome, guys. Well, we'll see you next week for a Facebook Live. Until then, have a great week. We'll talk to you guys soon.